Welcome to this episode of our property investing channel, where we bring you practical tips and strategies to help you maximize your profit and reduce your risk in your property investing journey. This is your host, I'm Mr. Hanna, and today we're going to be talking about development projects. Personally, I'm very interested in this topic, and our today's guest will definitely will be able to help us to explore this topic with her immense knowledge and experience. Heba Hanna is director of Hanna Architects with many years of experience in designing of building projects. So without further ado, I'd like to welcome Heba to our show. Heba, thank you very much for being here.
Hi, how are you, Amir? Thank you.
I'm very good, Heba. Thank you for joining us. Before we start on asking you serious question, tell us a bit about yourself and your experience and your journey in your architectural field.
Thank you for inviting me. My name is Heba Hanna. I'm a registered architect. I own architecture studio called Hanna Architects. We are based in Melbourne. I decided to open my studio after gaining 15 years experience in residential, commercial, and hospitality projects across all phases, from concept design to completion, including town planning, building permit, and project management.
Great variety of experiences in different sectors, which is very helpful for people who are going to work with you. So I'm going to start with the basics. We're going to talk about development today. So how does a development process looks like from feasibility study to project completion date from your point of view?
Yeah, feasibility is one of the most important part of the process. We look at the site possibilities and constraints, plus council requirements. We can provide you with the best concept design in accordance with your needs and council requirements. And if you decide to go ahead from the town planning, we run the whole process, the whole town planning process for you, and deal with the council and provide support. Then once we receive a town planning permit, we move to documentation or working drawings or building permit approval. The project management, where we can assist in tendering, site visits, variation, and or review working drawings or variations, also dealing with contractors to ensure the contract between client and contractors is executed in accordance with the terms.
Sure. So it basically involves in a lot of different professionals in the area. So builders, town planners, architects, engaging councils, and that feasibility part that you mentioned is, I think, the critical part of any development project, because if you want to start a development project, you want to make sure that the numbers stack up, and at the end of the day, you know how long it's going to take, how much it's going to cost you, and how much profit you can have at the end of that time frame. So that process requires involving a lot of professionals, and as we call it in construction, it is ECI, LE, contractor involvement, to make sure that basically the quote that the builder gives you makes sense and you can build property on a site. An architect can help to give the confidence that 2 or 3 townhouses or units, you know, with certain height and, you know, certain area can be built. And, you know, we all want to make sure that site is developable in the first step, basically. We don't want to buy something and suddenly go to council and realize that
it doesn't work. Yes.
Exactly. And that shows the importance of pre-purchase and pre-settlements phase of the project. So that is about the pre-purchase phase, which we require understanding the numbers, engaging the right team to start with, and then move on and, you know, go to the next phases of development. But before we go to details of development, let's talk about the time frame and duration of a typical development project. Let's say a 2 or 3 townhouses or 2 or 3 unit development project, because everything is different from pre-COVID. Everything has changed. So we are in a new era right now. So just tell us about the duration that can take to build the 2 or 3 townhouses or units on a site, and compare it, please, to a pre-COVID situation.
Once you decide to go ahead with a town planning process, that with the current councils and town planning process, we allow up to 1 year with the council. Once we receive a town planning permit, then the process pretty straightforward. We depend on the project size. We allow for about 1 to 2 months to get a building permit, and we start construction, of course, after this.
Sure. And the process starts from there. If you're talking about the building aspect of the development project, previously a building could be finished in 4, 5, 6 months. But right now, with all happening in construction industry and all the shortage of labor and material, we see builders are struggling to finish a project in that size. It takes them probably up to 24 months to finish a project like that. So it is a massive difference between pre-COVID and what we're experiencing at the moment, which at the end of the day affects the developers' cost and money, because the more they spend on building, the more they have to pay on their land, they are paying interest rates and so many other costs that basically put pressure on their pocket. So how an architect can help a developer in that process to minimize the duration of the development project?
I'm always intending to respond to queries straight away, especially with councils. Sometimes I need to call councils, town planner, to clarify a few things. And even if there is any amendments required in the drawings, that's make sure this is happening in a timely manner. And also I'm always reachable.
That's very good points, because if we look at the communication between council and architect, they always ask for further information and changes. And it is very critical to give them with correct level of details and information. Otherwise, we're wasting valuable time, and at the end of the day, we're losing money. So that shows the importance of engaging the right team from the very first phases of development. So we talk about time, and time equals money. But apart from that perspective, how can an architect help developers to reduce their cost of buildings?
Architects have to be aware of the product prices. What are the expensive products and what are the cheaper options on the market? Continuously working also with the client budget. In some cases, to bring the cost down, we need to cut areas, but that is not the case where we do a subdivision, because in the subdivision we need to build in the maximum area allowed to us.
Sure. One aspect is building at the maximum capacity, but the other aspect is understanding the alternative products and, making sure that we are providing value for money. And understanding the right product, I think, for development project is key, because we need to understand that which product is suitable for which location. We cannot buy a high-end townhouse in a very affordable suburb, basically, because the cost of building a high-end townhouse is just too much. And as a luxury product, you cannot sell it in an affordable suburb. So how can you as an architect help builders and developers in that process to give the right product with the right price to the right target market at the end of the day?
See, there are so many products in the market. And normally we choose the right product based on three factors. The first factor is the location of the project, where we build. That is the first thing. Second factor is the style. Is it architecture, building, or standard?
Sure.
Third factor is of course, builder or developer budget.
Sure. And the budget is a key again. The site selection is a key factor when any
Yes,
developer wants to start a
of
project.
course, yeah. And the location is really important, the style.
Absolutely.
If it's architecture, we do sometimes architecture designs in some
Sure.
areas or suburbs, and some we need to go to just the standard design.
Absolutely. And we see it time and time again that people have the money to buy a certain type of development site and they buy it. But
Yeah.
because they don't think ahead and they don't understand the cost of building in that particular suburb and the right product for the right audience in that suburb, when they engage builders, they realize that, oh my God, I cannot, build that luxury apartment or townhouse or unit in that suburb, and it is not in my budget. So they start, cutting corners and building an affordable unit in a luxury suburb, which is a wrong product for, a good suburb. So
Yeah.
it's just really important to match all those things. Using the right architect, understanding the cost of building by engaging the right builder in the right time, and also doing that feasibility study for sure in early phases before purchasing anything in the first place.
Yeah.
Perfect. So what else as an architect do you think is necessary for having a successful development project?
See, I'm always saying engaging an architect is the earlier is the better. I go to few developer, as you said, before they go ahead and purchase any property and check everything. I can tell them whether this is work or not.
Sure.
Once a client came to me before he purchased a property, say I want to build a double-story house at the back of the existing one. And when I checked the council requirements and I done my feasibility, I found that he cannot go up to the certain height. He cannot do double story. Then I told him, then this doesn't work.
Sure.
So always saying it's the early engagement is the better.
Absolutely. And that feasibility study is very important. And it is really a teamwork rather than an individual exercise, because for that exercise to be successful, we need to engage architects, town planners, builders, and we need to look at that project from a financial perspective, which we need a property consultant to basically bring all the numbers together and see if numbers stack up for that development project. Fantastic point, Heba, that, it requires an engagement of the right team for a successful development project. I think we had a very good conversation about the concept of development and, the development basics, and you provided fantastic information for people who wants to start their development and they really don't know much about that process. Tell us how people can find you.
Feel free to contact me if you have any inquiries or you need a consultation. Google my website www.hannaarchitects.com.au or call me on 0434626463. Email address is Heba, Heba @hannaarchitects.com.au.
Perfect. Thank you very much, Hanna, for being here today and sharing your experience and knowledge with us today.
Yeah, thank you, Amir. Thanks for that.
My pleasure. So if you've liked what you heard today, please like our channel and leave us a comment. And on that note, this episode is a wrap. We'll see you guys again very soon. Bye for now.
Thank you. Bye.